It was just another Monday, April 14th, 2025. Clear blue skies over San Diego, coffee shops buzzing, school buses on the road, people scrolling their phones, stuck in morning traffic. The kind of day that makes you feel like nothing big is going to happen. Just a regular morning, until it wasn't. At exactly 10:08 a.m., everything changed. The ground didn't just rumble, it jolted. A sharp, violent movement that caught millions of people completely off guard. Windows shook, shelves rattled. And within seconds, all across Southern California and even parts of Mexico, people felt it. A 5.2 magnitude earthquake had struck. The epicenter? Just a couple miles south of Julian, a quiet mountain town east of San Diego that's usually known for its pies and peaceful streets, not seismic chaos. This wasn't a small tremor that people ignore and laugh off. This hit different. Within moments, texts flooded in. Social media exploded. People were calling loved ones, checking on family, trying to make sense of what just happened. Buildings swayed, dogs barked non-stop, and car alarms went off like some kind of warning siren for the apocalypse. Even before the aftershocks hit, people knew this wasn't going to be one of those did-you-feel-it kind of earthquakes. This one left an impression, but here's where it gets even more intense. According to top seismologist Dr. Lucy Jones, this wasn't just a random earthquake. It was likely triggered by movement along the Elsinore Fault, one of the lesser-known, but extremely dangerous branches of the famous San Andreas Fault system. And just to make it more nerve-wracking, the day before, on Sunday, there was a smaller 3.3 quake in the same area. At the time, it felt like nothing major, just a bump in the earth. But Dr. Jones confirmed what no one wanted to hear. That 3.3 quake, it was a foreshock, a warning shot, a sign that something bigger was coming, and we missed it. It's the kind of detail that hits hard after the fact, like realizing the smoke alarm went off before the fire started. Now picture this. Within just minutes of that initial 5.2 quake, 9 aftershocks followed. Bang, bang, bang. Each one hitting like a reminder that the earth wasn't done yet. People were still trying to catch their breath when the next ones rolled in. Small but terrifying, because you never know if they're just tremors or the beginning of something worse. And here's what makes this all the more real. This wasn't just shaking dirt in some remote hillside. This was felt across the entire region, from San Diego to Carlsbad, Escondido, even as far as Mexico. The ground was alive and everyone felt it. In Julian, chaos unfolded fast. People poured out onto Main Street, calling for each other, trying to get cell signal. Robin Boland from the Julian Chamber of Commerce described the scene. Everybody ran outside. All the car alarms were going off. People were yelling, looking around. It felt like it lasted forever. Can you imagine that? Standing in a quiet little town surrounded by mountains, and suddenly the earth itself sounds like it's cracking beneath your feet. And this is only part of the story. Because what people didn't know at that moment was how personal this quake would become. The damage, the fear, the heartbreaking stories of people who truly believed the ground beneath them was about to give way. Stay tuned. In part 2, we go deeper. You'll hear what really happened inside homes, stores, and businesses as people screamed, ran barefoot, and watched their ceilings crack open. This wasn't just a geological event. It was an emotional one. Part 2 is coming up. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. The earthquake hits home, stories of panic and survival. If you're just tuning in, part 1 of this story gave you the shocking details of the 5.2 magnitude earthquake that struck near Julian, near San Diego, on the morning of April 14th, 2025. That violent jolt caught everyone off guard. But now let's dive deeper into what happened after the shaking, the chaos that followed, the panic, the fear, and the stories from inside homes and businesses that were rocked by this quake. When you feel an earthquake like this, you don't know what's coming next. Your heart races, your instincts take over, and your mind goes into survival mode. In Carlsbad, Caroline described what happened as the quake hit. We felt a very violent jolt. It lasted about 10 seconds, and our whole building was swaying. She said this was the biggest earthquake she had ever felt in her life. Dylan Carniero, working inside Mountain Spirits Liquor in Julian, felt it too. Dylan had been getting ready to use the restroom when the ground beneath him suddenly moved. The shaking was so intense, he heard bottles falling off the shelves, loud crashes, one after another. The store, a small business, was wrecked by falling bottles, some even breaking upon impact. I heard 3 to 4 bursts. Pops from different bottles breaking, he said, describing the moment when everything around him seemed to fall apart. In that instant, his sense of safety disappeared. Imagine standing there knowing there's nothing you can do to stop it. It's not just an inconvenience, it's real destruction. And it was happening to him, his store, his livelihood. But what about homeowners? What happened when the quake hit inside their own houses? Take Ashley Pinnock from Ramona, for example. She was home when the quake rattled her house to its core. It felt like my entire roof was going to collapse, she recalled. The ceiling cracked right above her, a terrifying sound that made her heart stop. I started hearing something cracking. That's when I screamed for everyone to get out. I was terrified. This is the reality many people faced. No warning, just panic. Ashley's experience was shared by so many that day. The quake didn't just shake homes. It shattered that feeling of security that we all take for granted. Your house, the one place where you're supposed to feel safe, becomes a ticking time bomb as it cracks and creaks under the pressure of the earth moving beneath it. But what happens when your instinct tells you to run? Linda Rangel, working from her home in Escondido, did exactly that. My instinct was to leave the building, she said. No second guessing, no hesitation, just pure survival instinct. I didn't have shoes on, I left my phone behind. I just ran outside. Can you picture it? In the middle of the chaos, Linda didn't even think about grabbing her phone. In that moment, her only priority was getting out alive. It's a chilling reminder of how quickly a disaster can make everything else feel insignificant. Yet despite the horror and the destruction people saw around them, there's something incredible happening right alongside it. People helping people. Across Julian, Carlsbad, Ramona, and other affected areas, strangers became lifelines. Neighbors checking on neighbors, offering water, making sure everyone was okay. Robin Boland from Julian said, "It's amazing how quickly everyone came together. This wasn't just a disaster, it was also a moment where communities were reminded of what it means to be human. In the face of fear, there was compassion. And that's what makes these stories so powerful. But here's the kicker. Despite all the panic, the shaking, the cracked ceilings and falling bottles, the damage wasn't as bad as it could have been. In fact, San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria confirmed that there's no known visible or major damage to the city so far. No major injuries, no widespread structural collapse. This is huge, especially when you consider how powerful this earthquake was. But don't think for a second that we were out of the woods. This quake was only 5.2. It could have been far worse, much worse. Remember, California is sitting right on top of some of the most dangerous fault lines in the world. The San Andreas, the Elsinore Fault, the Rose Canyon Fault. They're all ticking time bombs. And next time, it might not be a small earthquake like this one. So what does that mean for us? For you? In the next section, we'll dive into what experts are saying about California's earthquake future. What do we need to know? How can we prepare? And why should this moment, this very quake, be the warning we didn't want but desperately needed? But for now, let's just take a second to think about this. If it had been a bigger quake, if it had hit harder, would we have been ready, preparing for the big one? What comes after the shaking? So, we've taken you through the chaos of April 14th, 2025, a 5.2 magnitude earthquake that rattled San Diego, leaving the ground shaking, people panicking, and homes cracked wide open. But that's not the end of the story. No, in fact, it's only the beginning of a much bigger conversation. One that we all need to have right now, because as powerful as this earthquake was, it was just a wake-up call. Experts have been sounding the alarm for years, warning us that a much stronger earthquake could hit at any moment. California sits right on top of seismic time bombs. We're talking about faults like the San Andreas and Elsinore, which have caused massive, catastrophic quakes in the past, and could again. And so, the big question is, are we ready? When that quake hit, people in Carlsbad, Julian, Escondido, and beyond did what they could to survive. But were they prepared? Were you prepared? Let's be honest. Earthquakes don't give us a lot of warning. This one was just the beginning of a series of aftershocks that rattled people even more. And if we're not prepared for what comes next, the consequences could be devastating. Here's what you need to know and how to prepare before the next quake shakes your world. Know the fault lines. It's no secret that Southern California sits along a major fault zone. The San Andreas Fault is one of the most infamous, but the Elsinore Fault that caused this earthquake is no slouch either. That means, even though we just had a 5.2 magnitude quake, there's a very real possibility that something much stronger could follow, sooner than we think. Earthquake kits are crucial. What happens when the shaking stops? If the damage is bad, you could be left without power, clean water, or food. An earthquake kit is a must-have. You need to have non-perishable food, water, flashlights, first aid supplies, and tools to get you through those critical first hours or even days if help is delayed. 3. Secure your home. Did you know that simple steps like securing bookshelves, attaching heavy objects to walls, and checking gas lines can make all the difference? In a big quake, these small actions can prevent life-threatening injuries and property damage. Practice emergency drills. Just like fire drills, you need to practice earthquake drills. Drop, cover, and hold on is the technique that could save your life. You need to teach your family and loved ones how to respond, where to go, and what to do when the shaking starts. It's not just about the first moments of the quake, but how to stay calm and stay alive through the chaos. Stay informed and connected. We live in a world where communication is everything. Make sure your phone is always charged and sign up for emergency alerts from your local government or the U.S. Geological Survey. If there's an earthquake, you'll want to know what's going on around you. Getting real-time updates could make the difference between survival and disaster. Now let's talk about the mental side of preparing for an earthquake. It's not just about stockpiling supplies or securing your home. It's about being mentally prepared for what comes after the shaking stops. Because let's face it, the reality of a major earthquake isn't just physical destruction, it's emotional turmoil. There's the shock, the anxiety, the fear of not knowing if your loved ones are safe, the panic, the stress that comes with knowing that everything could change in an instant. But here's the thing. You don't have to be helpless. The San Diego earthquake was a wake-up call, but it doesn't have to be the thing that takes you by surprise next time. We can't control when or where the next earthquake will hit, but we can control how we prepare, how we stay calm in the moment, and how we rebuild. As much as the ground shaking under your feet is out of your control, the way you react to it, that's on you and the people of San Diego, Julian, and beyond. They reacted. They helped each other. They came together in a way that shows how powerful community can be when everything else falls apart. It's a lesson that we all need to carry with us, because when that big one finally hits, it'll be our collective strength that gets us through it. So, as we wrap up this incredible journey from the moment the earth shook to the lessons we need to take into the future, I want you to think about something. What will you do when the next earthquake hits? Will you be prepared? Will you know what to do? And will you be there for others when everything starts shaking again? Stay safe. Stay prepared. And keep your community strong. Because next time, it could be your turn to step up and help others. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more updates on earthquakes, disaster preparedness, and survival tips. Stay safe out there.